Good evening and a very warm welcome to Radio and Television Tonga news package for the hour. Leading our bulletin tonight, Tonga police recorded 3 road fatalities during the weekend in Tongatapu and Vava'u. Her Majesty Queen Anasipau will commission the Queen Salata College Dental Health Clinic this morning, and the curfew hours have now been reduced by an hour effective tomorrow morning, which will then begin from 1 a.m. after midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. Now for the stories in detail. Tonga police recorded 3 road fatalities over the weekend, with 2 people deceased in Vava'u and another seriously injured after a 2-vehicle crash in Kameli yesterday morning, while the third death is a 2-year-old who was hit by a car beside the road in Talafo'o on Friday. Mark Ake will tell you more on that story.
Deputy Police Commissioner David Vailea says the crash in Kameli, Neafu Vava'u, happened at approximately 6 a.m. yesterday morning at the Halatu'i Road and Walingatoni Ngu Roads intersection, where a rental was heading south of the Halatu'i Road while another vehicle was heading from the north, and they collided. Vailea says no alcohol involvement has been reported from the incident, but police believe that the vehicles were speeding and the driver in the rental was not of legal age. The driver in the rental was a 16-year-old boy and the passenger was a 22-year-old man. The driver died at the scene and his passenger died at the Prince Ngu Hospital yesterday afternoon. Meanwhile, the third victim is a 2-year-old child at Talafo'o who was hit by a truck beside the road last Friday. He was admitted to Viola Hospital and police received a report from the hospital that the victim had passed away on Saturday morning. David Vailea says they are yet to confirm the cause of this incident, but a 27-year-old driver remains in police custody for reckless driving causing death and is due to appear in court later on. Meanwhile, as road deaths are increasing this year compared to last year, police urges drivers to be more cautious when driving on the road to prevent further tragedies. Vailea also urges the public to make sure they get their vehicle inspected annually to ensure it is suitable and safe to be used. However, police investigation continues.
Her Majesty Queen Anasipau commissioned the Dental Health Clinic and a sick bay for Queen Salata College this morning, donated by the Rotary Club from Melbourne, Australia. Alice Tupo has more on that story.
During the program, Health Director Dr. Celia Kauola said, "This is a milestone to the schools and it all began a Rotary Club conducted a survey in Tonga in 1996 led by dentist specialist Dr. David Goldsmith."
And he did a survey here in the kingdom and he found out that the index used by World Health Organization for the dental health of children, the DMFT, decayed missing teeth or filled teeth, was fairly poor in Tonga. And 2 things come out of that. One, kids are eating the wrong food. They're eating too much sweet stuff. And the second one, once they get the teeth, their oral health down, they tend not to eat the healthy stuff. And that's a concern for Tonga, when NCD is the major struggle we are facing at this time. So I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the President of Lord Tangi, who is here. He was the leader of Ministry of Health at the time, and acknowledge a few names who are not here with us anymore, like Dr. Moita Pealava, Dr. William Skalu. They were leading the dental department at the time. I think they had the vision to ensure this program continues.
Meanwhile, Dr. David Goldsmith praised the staff and the dentist of the dental unit of the Ministry of Health for their good partnership.
What we try to do is a little bit different from some projects. We don't concentrate on doing the clinical work. We don't need to. The Tongan dentists here are as capable as anybody in the world. It's just we want to try to give them the tools to be able to do the job that other places can do. So that's been our focus, is not to do, but to work together in a partnership to help with the self-improvement of the Tongan Health Service. And it's been a great journey. The important thing is with this that whatever we do, it's not like an aid project, it has to be sustainable. And with this project, it truly is sustainable because we have 3 dentists who will support the running of the project in the future. Cecilia, Luene and Tule. And we also have Seni Manu with the library as teacher educator. And the commitment that I see all the time between Queen Selote and the people who've been educated here. And to have the support of the Queen Nanasi Pahu has been crucial to this happening. So we all thank her for driving this from the beginning.
The head prefect of Queen Selote College, Olive Tugutau, elaborated more on the assistance which she says will help the students during this difficult time.
I understand that with the commissioning of the Queen Selote College Dental Clinic, students will no longer fear and dread going to the dentist or spend hours waiting to be attended to at the hospital, because we have our own dentist, Dr. Fusfifita, and our own dental clinic here at the school. You have also helped equip the school's sick bay, a much-needed facility in any school.
During the program, the Queen and the High Commissioner of Australia to Tonga, Her Excellency Rachel Moore, and many guests visited the dental clinic, sick bay, and the library. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
The curfew hours have now been reduced by an hour, effective tomorrow morning. The new curfew hours will then begin from 1 a.m. after midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. Mark Age with more on that story.
In a press conference last week, the MEDEC CEO, Paula Ma'u, says the Ministry of Health and the NEMC believes using curfew hours is appropriate as they need to ensure the safety and health of the public, as such changes have now been made to the curfew hours. The state of emergency was put in place in March last year as an effort to keep Tonga prepared for COVID-19 and to ensure the people's safety from it. Ma'u says moving from orange light to green light will depend on the Health Ministry's observation on the situation of COVID-19. Meanwhile, with the flights from overseas to Tonga, Tonga began receiving 3 flights a week from New Zealand last week, with 2 flights from Fiji and 1 from Australia. The NEMC will continue to increase the flights coming in from Australia. Meanwhile, cruise ships are also expected to arrive in the kingdom by October this year.
The United States Embassy in Suva, Fiji will offer consular services to the U.S. citizens in Tonga from September 20th to September the 27th. The embassy will accept application for American citizen services, including reports of birth abroad and U.S. passport applications, as well as provide notary services for documents for use in the United States. Applicants should not make travel arrangements until they have received their new valid passports from the U.S. Embassy in Suva, Fiji. The embassy cannot guarantee that passports will be available at a certain date. Appointments for American citizen services will be available here in Nuku'alofa on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and Monday 21st to the 23rd and 26th of September 2022. The Australian High Commission held an afternoon tea on Friday to recognise Wade Burple Day. Wade Burple Day was founded in 2010 in response to the suicides of several young people who were bullied and harassed as a result of not being accepted for their sexuality or gender identity. Alice Tupo takes up that story.
Wade Burple Day was founded in 2010 in response to the suicides of several young people who were bullied and harassed as a result of not being accepted for their sexuality or gender identity. During the occasion, the program manager, Edwina Dangdao, talked about the theme, Still Me, Still Human, as she explained that we all bear a responsibility to foster supportive, safe, empowering, and inclusive environments for our young people. People should be proud of who they are and who they are becoming. Part of the programs to mark the Wade Burple Day includes the team from Families Free of Violence, or FFOV, visited some of their stakeholders and frontline services. For Phase 2 of the program, FFOV is focusing on inclusivity of all marginalized groups such as the elderlies, people with disabilities, the ladies community, and young people. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
And the first official celebration of the New Zealand government's apology for the dawn raids was an emotional affair at the Orake Marae complex in Auckland, New Zealand. Speeches were delivered by community leaders, including Minister for Pacific Peoples, William Sio, and Defence Minister Peeni Henare. Mark Ake with the detail.
It's been more than 4 decades since the events of the dawn raids in the 1970s, and the trauma still lives for many in the older generation who as children saw their homes raided by police. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern gave a formal and unreserved apology on behalf of the government for the dawn raids, in which she said left Pacific communities feeling targeted and terrorized in the 1970s. Ardern delivered the speech as part of a 3.5-hour ceremony in front of more than 1,000 people at the Auckland Town Hall. She said the raids to find, convict, and deport overstayers often took late at night or early in the morning and were said to involve harsh verbal and physical treatment. Ardern said the raids went well beyond upholding immigration laws, and the whole communities felt targeted and terrorized. She said following an inquiry in 1986, it was found that although Pacific people only represented about a third of overstayers, they represented 86 of prosecutions. She said the government expresses its sorrow, remorse, and regret that the dawn raids and random police checks occurred and that the actions were ever considered appropriate. Meanwhile, more than 200 people were at the Orake Marae in Auckland Town Hall for the 1-year anniversary commemoration of the historical events.
Sports is up next with Mark Ake, proudly sponsored by Pacific Timber and Hardware.
To football, round 3 of the Youth Futsal League concluded last Saturday. In the under-14 girls division, Nuku'alofa beat Isileli Kapeta 8 points to 1. Ha'ateho over Longolongo 1-0. Ha'ateho over Longolongo 1-0. Peitonga over Ha'alalo 3-0. And Lawengatonga hammered Ahau 7-0. In the under-16 girls division, Longolongo won against Lapaha 2-0. Fahefa over Isileli Kapeta 2-0. And Lawengatonga cruised past Havelu with a 4-0 win. Meanwhile, in the under-14 boys division, Fahefa beat Nuku'alofa 2-0. Nuku'alofa 1 beat Navutoka 3-0. Fomotu over Longolongo 4 points to 1. Halalo over Isileli Kapeta 3-0. Loto Ha'apai 1 beat Folaha 2-0. Nuku'alofa over Ha'ateho 3-0. Peitonga over Ahau 2, 8-0. Ahau 1 beat Havelu 5 points to 2. Ha'ateho 2 beat Ha'asini 2 points to 1. Ha'ateho 1 over Vaini 2, 6-0. Vaini 1 over Loto Ha'apai 2, 5-0. And Lawengatonga drew with Lapaha at 1-all. In the under-16 boys division, Longoteme beat Lapaha 6 points to 2. Fahefa over Nuku'alofa 10-5. Lawengatonga over Isileli Kapeta 4-3. Ahau lost to Peitonga 4 points to 1. Folaha beat Fuamotu 4-1 as well. Loto Ha'apai over Homa 6-1. Havelu drew with Navutoka 1-all. And Longolongo drew with Toloa 1-all as well. In the under-19 boys division, Ha'asini edged past Lapaha 4 points to 3. Longolongo won comfortably against Isileli Kapeta 9 points to 2, and Nuku'alofa beat Fasmeafi Atongi 4-0, and Fahefa drew with Fuamotu 3-all.
That wraps up this evening's news package, but before we part, here's one final look at today's top stories. Tonga police recorded 3 road fatalities during the weekend here in Tongatapu and Vava'u. Her Majesty Queen Anasipau commissioned the Queen's College Dental Health Clinic this morning, and the curfew hours have now been reduced by an hour, effective tomorrow morning, which will then begin from 5 a.m. after midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Vafanato Pola. Good evening.